Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert, bringing extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support. I am truly pleased to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. Today, we're diving into one of the most critical skills in our industry, mastering the corporate close. We're going to break down what separates a simple, one-time booking from a valuable, decade-long partnership. It's all about turning that maybe into a signed contract, and more importantly, into a lasting relationship. So let's start with this core philosophy, because it's really the heart of the matter. Closing a major corporate deal, it isn't about some high-pressure moment or a single clever line you use at the end. A successful close is a process. It's a carefully designed sequence that reinforces trust and confirms you're both on the same page every single step of the way. So here's our roadmap. We're going to walk through that entire life cycle. First, we'll cover setting the stage for success. Then we'll get into the specifics of executing the perfect close. After that, we'll look at that crucial transition of turning a signature into a partnership. And finally, we'll explore how to cultivate real long-term value. Let's get started. Okay, first up, setting the stage for success. And here's the thing you really need to get. The final yes is earned long before you ever ask for it. Honestly, most of the work happens right here in this foundational stage. This is where you build the case for your hotel so convincingly that the close feels like the most natural, logical conclusion for everyone. Think of your preparation as resting on these four foundational pillars. You've got strategic planning, which has to align with your hotel's goals. Then there's clear communication, constant value reinforcement, and, of course, trust building. Each one is absolutely essential for creating an environment where the client feels confident and ready to say yes. Now, this is where you really reframe the conversation. You see, you're not just selling features like rates or cancellation policies. Each one of these things is a direct solution to a client's problem. When you can clearly articulate how these benefits solve their problems, you stop being just another vendor and you become an indispensable partner. And this right here, it perfectly illustrates that critical shift in mindset you need to have. The transactional view, well, it only sees the immediate revenue from this one deal. But the strategic view, that's where you balance that with long-term potential, with your hotel's position in the market, and even start thinking about what your client might need next year. That's the difference between a booking and a relationship. You know, so many people see objections as roadblocks, but they're not. They're actually opportunities. When a client brings up a concern about pricing or terms, it's a chance for you to listen, to show you get it, and to reaffirm the value you're providing. Great objection handling builds confidence. It never creates conflict. Okay, so with all that strong preparation done, let's move into our second section, executing the perfect close. This is where all that hard work really starts to pay off. Your confidence, your professionalism, your strategy, it all comes together right here to guide the conversation to a successful commitment. So this is the big question, right? How do you actually ask for the business? Well, there are several proven techniques, but the key, and this is non-negotiable, is that they have to be used ethically and transparently. The goal is to empower the client to make a decision they feel fantastic about, not to pressure them into one. Let's talk about the assumptive close. This is all about projecting quiet confidence. By phrasing something like, "So, shall we get the contract drawn up for a start date of the 1st?" You're making the decision feel like a very natural, logical next step. It helps reduce any last-minute hesitation. Next up, the summary close. This one is just so powerful for reinforcing all the value you've established. You systematically review all the benefits, all the agreed-upon terms, basically reminding the client of the incredible package you've built together. It makes everything crystal clear and leaves no room for doubt. And then there's the choice close. I really like this one because it's great for empowering the client. You offer them options like, would you prefer the all-inclusive package or the one with a la carte event services? You're giving them a sense of control while making sure that either choice leads to a commitment. But look, I have to stress this. These techniques are just tools in your toolbox. Their effectiveness depends entirely on the human element. Things like recognizing buying signals, projecting confidence, staying attuned to the client's mood, and keeping your cool under pressure. These are the skills that separate the good from the truly great. Okay, so you've got the signature. Fantastic. But that brings us to our third section, from signature to partnership. Because that signature is a huge milestone, but it is not the finish line. This transition from negotiation to active partner is where your hotel's true professionalism is proven and where long-term trust is really cemented. The moment you get that verbal yes, a clock starts ticking on this critical workflow. You have to move, and move fast, from that handshake to documentation to getting everyone internally on the same page. Any delay or mistake right now can instantly undermine all the confidence you've worked so hard to build. And don't underestimate the power of flawless paperwork. Your attention to detail here speaks volumes. When a client gets a prompt, perfectly accurate contract, it sends a powerful message. It tells them your hotel is committed to excellence, and it reinforces that they made the right choice.
You've probably heard the saying, a promise made by sales is a promise kept by operations. This is where that becomes real. The sales team's job doesn't just end with the signature. You have to ensure that every single department, front office, reservations, events, is fully briefed and ready to deliver exactly what was promised. That seamless handover is absolutely vital.
And that leads us perfectly into our final, and you could argue, most important section, cultivating long-term value. This is all about making sure that partnership doesn't just start strong, but actually thrives for years to come. This is where you create true sustainable success. Just look at this. The takeaway is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. The greatest long-term value, the deepest loyalty, it doesn't come from that one-time deal. It absolutely skyrockets as you move from just a transaction to a real relationship. And it peaks when that client sees you as a true strategic partner who's invested in their success. You have to think of this partnership as a living thing. It needs to be nurtured. This cycle, maintaining contact, checking in on their satisfaction, ensuring service is always smooth, this is what builds the foundation for real loyalty, for referrals, and for future growth with that client. You know, the best professionals I've ever met are relentless learners. After every single deal, whether they win or lose, they take the time to reflect. They ask themselves, what worked well? What objections came up? How could I improve my approach next time? This constant analysis is what fuels professional growth. So, we'll leave you with this question to consider. With these frameworks in mind, how will you transform your next transaction into a powerful, lasting partnership? We look forward to supporting your professional growth as you apply these learnings in your careers.